Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. It's the final days of our Black Friday sale. Recharge this season with a bundle of cozy, soothing comfort. Now only $17.99 for our C2 mattress and base, plus free premium delivery. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
We all know those GLP-1 injections work wonders, but that price tag almost gave me a heart attack when my insurance denied coverage. I was staring at a choice between paying my mortgage or paying for weight loss. Talk about a rock and a hard place. Then I found Elevate Health compounded semaglutide at just $58 with payment plans that don't require a second mortgage. Same medication, same results, but a price that real folks can actually afford. Visit joinelevate.com today. That's JOINELEVATE.com. Your wallet will be as happy as your waistline. This medication is not FDA approved.
Are you scouring the web for the best Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals? Stop it. Get Rakuten. Rakuten is a shopping sidekick that gets you cash back on gifts for everyone on your list. Right now, you can get up to 15% cash back at the stores you love. You can even stack cash back on top of the biggest sales of the year. That's savings on savings. It's more time shopping and less time searching. With Rakuten, you're always saving at your favorite stores on the things you're already buying. Cashback is automatically added to your account as you shop, and you get paid with gift cards, PayPal, or check. Or eligible American Express card members can even choose to earn membership reward points instead of cashback. It's truly a no-brainer. Now's the time to join. Up to 15% cashback ends on 12/2. Plus, new members will receive a welcome bonus after minimum qualifying purchases. Just go to Rakuten.com, download the app, or install the browser extension. That's RAKUTEN. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello. Today's episode is a little bit of it's a deep one. So this episode is dealing with grief and losing a parent. So if this is something that maybe you are not ready to listen to, you can not listen to this episode. But if it's also something that you feel you want to listen to because it's something that you're dealing with right now, then this episode is for you. I am so grateful to have a friend of mine, Cece, come on the pod today. Yeah, basically, you know, you've obviously dealt with loss recently.
I have, yeah.
And I feel like, you know, you came on because you were sad to see that there were not enough podcasts about this topic.
Yeah.
So if you'd like to introduce yourself.
So I'm Cece, and it's such a pleasure to be on today because, as Chiara said, when I was going through the loss of my mum, I was searching relentlessly in the first few weeks for people's experiences and just some advice or guidance from people who have gone through the same thing. And especially as a woman and a daughter losing a mother, I do believe that there should be more out there to give a space to those people to feel more heard or more comfortable in what they're going through. So this is definitely something I wanted to do.
Yeah.
If you love me, let me fly away. Maybe I'll come back to you. Maybe I won't.
Our quote this week, I kind of wanted to link it to this topic, is, and to heal, you must first allow yourself to feel everything. Mm-hmm. I definitely relate to that, just put on a pain perspective, but how do you feel about that quote?
I think that, honestly, before coming here, I was thinking about rough things that I would like to cover and talk about, and before even knowing the quote of the week. And this was definitely something that can be so attached to grief because, you know, you'll hear quite quickly after you lose someone, the advice many people give you is it will get easier. Time is the biggest healer. And I think that's applied to loss, not just parental loss. It's also heartbreak, everything, loss of a friendship. It's always, it will get easier with time. Yeah. But what I would say to someone who's going through the same thing, which I wish I was told, is it's going to get so much harder before it gets easier.
Really? Okay.
And
when did you lose your mum?
So my mum passed away in May.
This year?
This year, May, yes.
Wow.
And she had been diagnosed 3 years beforehand. So when she was diagnosed, we already knew that it was terminal and that the inevitable would be her passing. And throughout all that time, you know, a lot of people who are dealing with family members who have cancer or other illnesses, you almost feel like you're prepared for it with those conversations at that time, but nothing does prepare you for the moment that the inevitable occurs with any loss in life. And I think in order to stay positive, you have to think, okay, time will heal all. But then it might come as quite a shock when, you know, 2 weeks down the line, you suddenly feel way worse than you did on the day.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to understand that that's so normal.
That it gets worse before it gets better.
100%.
Yeah.
Because my experience anyway, and I would never want to speak for anyone else's, is that the first 1 or 2 months, it almost just felt like I was on a holiday, or I hadn't seen my mum for 1 or 2 months.
Okay.
Because that had happened before.
You thought she was going to come back.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's funny you say that, because one of my best friends, she lost her mum, and I remember her saying, like, you know, she just thought, okay, her mum would just come home.
Yeah, exactly. Because you do think that when you're used to someone being such a figure in your life and a constant figure and not imagining life before that person, without that person, you do just think, okay, well, it's just a bit of a break right now. I'll see them again soon. And then suddenly the months go by and you start to accept the fact of a future that will never be. And I think that's the thing with grief and losing a parent, is that it's not about forgetting the memories, because they will always stick with you, or mourning the past.
Yeah.
It's mourning a future happenings that will never happen.
Yeah. Like, I guess all the future, like, you know, you getting married and you having kids.
Yeah. And birthdays, or, I mean, one point that really struck me was the first time I was ill after losing my mum. And this must have been about 4 or 5 months after. And I remember, because my natural instinct when I woke up in the middle of the night, because I do live with my parents and I come from an Indian family, and living with family, honestly, until you get married is the norm. So I'd wake up in the middle of the night when I was sick and my mum was still here, and I'd completely just rush to her bedroom and wake her up and ask her what to do. And when I was sick and she wasn't there, again, that was another moment of grief.
Yeah.
That I didn't expect or didn't know was going to play out like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I say it gets harder before it gets better, because you have to go through so many firsts again.
Mm-hmm. And you're going to have to go through so many firsts even later down the line.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the whole idea of it getting worse before it gets better, when it comes to healing, obviously I can't relate in terms of like losing a parent, but I feel like when you're healing your heart, you kind of have to go through all the messiness first.
100%. Yeah.
It's like going through a closet of clothes that are just like all over the place, and having to just like slowly compartmentalize everything, and then it gets better.
100%. Because you do need to rewire your brain, or you need to allow your brain the space to rewire itself.
Mm-hmm.
And again, for anyone going through this, or any loss in general, really, I think my best advice is to make sure your brain is as healthy as possible while you go through it. Because it's so easy to slip into bad habits.
Yeah.
When you already feel so defeated, it's kind of like, well, what's the point anyway? Life is so unfair, etc. And it's so rightful to feel those feelings, but to be able to combat them and say, well, as long as I get enough sleep, as long as I'm fueling my body with the right food, and I'm not going out every night and doing all these things, I'm putting myself escaping,
because
really.
that must be something that could have happened, or could happen.
1,000,000%.
Is going out and getting absolutely wasted, or like turning to drugs, turning to alcohol, turning to sex, turning to all these addictions in order to escape how you actually feel.
Yeah. And I can understand, I can completely see how people take those routes, and I completely empathize with that, because when you already feel so weak, it's quite hard to have discipline or mental strength. But in hindsight, just understanding that any bad feeling is going to be magnified when your body feels bad. Right. And if you want to make the process as easy as possible for you, the first thing that you can control is how you feel mentally, which is so difficult.
It is so much easier said than done.
So much
the first thing you're going to want to turn to, which is I guess a short-term fix, is alcohol, or 100%. It is like that chocolate bar, or it is, you know, McDonald's is going to make me feel better right now, but maybe less better in the long term.
100. But sometimes you may need to go through that to see why it wasn't, plausible to do in the first place. And that's another thing. I think everyone's experience of losing a parent is so individual.
Yeah.
And even though I have a sibling who I'm so close to, I have one brother, but I know for a fact, even through conversation with him, that our journeys were so different in dealing with it. And that's so normal too, because the conversations you had, the times that you had with that person will never be seen or understood by anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And the impact that they had on you that others don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned genuinely more in the last 6 months than I have in my whole entire life.
It makes you grow
so
God. Much, because as you were saying, like your safety blanket is pulled away from you.
Completely.
Like the person that you run to for comfort is not there anymore. So you almost have to learn to rely on yourself.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, I know it's really morbid to say, but you were born alone and you will die alone.
100%.
And I don't want to put that in like a negative standpoint, but in another way, it's quite comforting because it's like, I know now that I can get all the love from within myself.
100%. Yeah.
And I feel like as we grow up, because we're both young, we're like, what, 23?
Yeah, 23.
I'm 25. And, I still do search for comfort in my mom and my parents. And I know that actually sometimes it can be a little bit not so healthy because I'm so dependent on leaning on someone else that I am also fearful that when I lose my mom, I'm not going to know how to
cope
with
certain things.
Yeah, like even just thinking about like losing my mom or my dad, like I'm so reliant on them that it's going to be a lot harder for me to like, be by myself and learn to like cope on my own. But you're doing that. And I do think that this last 6 months has allowed you to go within yourself and be like, actually, I'm going to water my own garden so much so that I have love overflowing out of my cup.
100%. And that's the thing. When your parent passes, they leave you, but they leave you. And slowly but surely you realize that the person that you are is because if you're fortunate enough to have grown up in a supportive and loving family, is you are who you are because of those love and those lessons that you may not remember, but they are subconsciously sticking with you forever.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I always thought that I'd felt emotions before. And this is another thing. I thought I'd felt loneliness, for example. And then suddenly when I really felt loneliness in certain times after my mum passed, I was like, okay, wow, this is how that actually feels. It's kind of like when someone else like, have you been in love before? And you're like, oh, well, I don't know. I think
so.
I have. But when you have, you're like, okay, now I know.
Yeah.
This is what it's meant to feel like. And I think there's a beauty in that as well. I think feeling every emotion, good or bad, is so important as a human.
But also I feel like from hearing what you're saying, what it feels like is that you're really deep diving into feeling.
Yes.
And I feel like that's also so courageous and so brave because the easiest thing to do is to not feel.
Exactly.
The easiest thing to do is to escape and avoid.
Yeah.
And as we all know, the more you escape, the more you avoid, the more those feelings are going to catch up to you and 100%. Get worse in the long term. It's like breaking up with an ex. You like go out and you avoid and you might not even get over that for years.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And that's not to say like, I guess I don't think you'll ever really get over losing a parent.
100%.
They'll always stay with you in some sort of way. But, my life coach always said to me, she was like, and hence why this quote is so relevant that I just read, is that the more you feel everything as it's coming to you right now in the present moment, which is why I think meditation is so important as well when it comes to like grieving, is that you feel so deeply, but also you realize that everything in life is temporary.
Yes, 100%.
And that emotion is so difficult and so hard, but it will pass. It will not last forever.
Yeah. And it's important to also not feel guilty about feeling certain ways. And I think it's easy to, once you've lost a parent or lost anyone or anything, is that you envision that there's a time period that you have until you should be fine again.
Yeah.
Especially, when you go out with your friends, after a few months, they're going to treat you as normal, as they should, because that's the best thing, is for people to kind of give a sense of normality around you. But the truth is that in my opinion anyway, is that every happy moment of my life will never be 100% happy from now forth. there will be an element of sadness attached to every
Right.
happy feeling. But that's nothing to, in my opinion, dread or be worried about. It's just an acceptance, really.
Yeah.
And it's to sit with your feelings and accept them and know that you can't change them. So let's talk about them.
Yeah. And I think it's also just even you coming here and talking about it, especially so early, you know,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
early on, and being brave enough to be like, yeah, this has happened. And it's the hardest thing I've ever had to go through.
100%.
And, you know, I feel like so many people, girls and boys,
Yes.
you know, losing a parent is more common than we think.
100%.
And I'd like to ask your advice, like as a friend of someone who's going through loss, what's the right way to go about it?
I would say that if your friend is in the middle of losing their parent or has just lost their parent, the best thing that you can do, and I know it sounds so cliche because everyone says it, is to just listen.
Okay.
And I know for a lot of people that may be hard because you can't control that. You may not deal well with certain sentimental subjects as a friend. And I definitely had friends who I know kind of shied away from addressing any trauma that I'm going through. And I respect that. That's just different people. But I would say is tell them, would you like to talk about it? And if you can sense that they would, then allow that conversation to happen.
Right.
But if you can sense that, no, what they want to do is get their mind off it, then do your best to really be what they need you to be. And if you're a good enough friend of theirs, you'll know that instinctively, 100%. And I mean, I was told by all my friends, please don't hesitate, pick up the phone, call me whenever you're sad. And I don't do that. And I think, and it's so easy to think that you can and know that you can, but just not want to, because you know that that person isn't going to say much, but I'm sorry and tell me more.
Yeah. But I also think maybe it's not about you reaching out to them.
No.
I think as a friend, you should proactively reach out yourself.
100%,
And
I
like,
agree.
even if the person who's lost a parent, you know, will say, yeah, I will, and not, because it is emotionally draining to having to feeling bad. And also the first person you're going to call is probably not one of your friends. It's probably going to be like your brother or someone in your family who maybe understands the situation better. But I definitely think, if you're someone who has a close friend who's lost a parent, I think being as proactive as possible and just even a message with like, hey, just checking in.
Yeah, 100%.
Like that goes so far. I mean, when I was going through a difficult time this year, not because of losing a parent, but because of, you know, a breakup, and, you know, I wouldn't reach out either to my friends. But when like one of my friends would constantly just text me and be like, hey, just checking in. And that went so far for me.
100%, yeah, because you feel seen without putting yourself out there,
without even having to say anything.
Yeah, and that's the type of, and it's funny because whenever any of my girlfriends who do the same as reaching out spontaneously, it does give you that sense of love that a mother would give you. You know, you don't really text. I didn't really text my mum every day, but every day I'd get a text saying, "Hi, my love, just thinking of you, hoping your day is going right." So if as a friend you can fill that space to the best possible ability that you can, obviously it will never be the same or replaceable, but just to, you know, drop little droplets of love wherever you can to fill that void that person is definitely experiencing is definitely the best thing that you can do when you can't do much.
Yeah.
We're just going to take a pause there and we'll be back after this break.
Another thing that I did a lot, because I have my brother and my dad, we were just a family of four really, and I'm so close to both my brother and my dad.
Yeah.
But I would find myself calling, you know, like Macmillan support, or just a number that you can find online that's open like 24 hours a day.
Really?
And yeah, there are these helplines. My mum had cancer, so Macmillan is cancer supportive, but there are so many others where you call free of charge. They'll pick up the phone and they'll talk to you as long as you want. And then they don't take your name. They don't know anything about you.
Right.
And you can kind of unload. And then if you think it's a bit too much, you can just hang up the phone. Or you can say whatever you like and know that that person won't necessarily judge you in the future. And I think that's a fear of being so vulnerable with a friend and not being a bit shy to then see them again because they saw you in such vulnerability.
Yeah.
There are actually other helplines and stuff available for in those moments for you to just unload, take a deep breath.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that isn't, again, talked about enough, that's available for you to do.
Yeah, I didn't know that there was a helpline.
Yeah.
Okay. For anything, including loss or like
Yeah, so Macmillan is for cancer and for loss and for grief. And then I know that there's also the Samaritans, which is more for mental health and for people who, especially people who are going through suicidal and more deep situations, to call up and get that advice. But you can really call up with any problem that you have.
And it's free.
And it's completely free, and it's 24 hours a day. So whatever time of night or at any moment, they'll just talk to you about what you're feeling. And you can leave that conversation and not feel as though someone's going to come and check up on you after, because you may not want that.
Yeah, that's honestly, that's amazing. I mean, we'll try and leave the number in the description.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, what other advice do you have for someone who, especially younger girls or guys, to deal with grief?
I would say that if anyone is currently dealing with a parent who is going through illness right now, and if they are still here with you, I would say in that process, voice record as much as you can. Even just entering a room and leaving your phone in the corner and leaving it on voice recording, and you almost forget that it's recording 20 minutes later. And my whole phone is filled with hours and hours of conversations.
Really?
Where a lot of those conversations are redundant. You know, we're just talking about silly things, but then I'll find a gem that you just forget that you have, because, you know, you fill your life with more memories, and slowly old memories slip a little bit. So that would be my advice. If you're dealing with a parent that you're about to lose, record as much as you can, because you never know one thing that they may say that may come in handy later. And that's a really good way of salvaging lessons and asking your mum or your dad, what do you want me to know when you're no longer here? If I ever go through a divorce, what would be your advice?
Is that what you did with your mum? Really?
If I was to lose a child one day, if I was to go through a miscarriage, if I have to have an abortion, if X, Y, Z, I was going through every single scenario I thought I could ever find myself in, and said, what would you tell me then? So I know now.
That's amazing.
And I think that's a really good way of not thinking that you've missed out on information or missed out on advice, is collecting it all. That would be my advice if you're going through that right now. And if you've just lost a parent and perhaps not had the opportunity to do that, I think understanding that's all really within you, and it is subconscious. And when the right time comes, the right message will come too.
Yeah, your intuition will speak for itself. And I feel like also, if you do believe, and if you are a spiritual person, you'll know that as much as your parent may not be there physically, they will always be there in spirit. And because you are half of your parent.
Oh, 1,000,000%.
You are a product of your mum.
100%.
Or your dad.
I would see her quite heavily in my dreams after. And this is why I loved sleeping after she passed, because I would dream about her almost every night.
And did she speak to you?
Yes. And they are still around. And I think no matter what you do believe, no matter which religion you are, whether you're spiritual or not, it's also a beautiful thing to grasp when losing a parent, is that they aren't gone completely.
Yeah.
And no matter how you continue a relationship with them, and I think that relationship never dies.
Never.
Even my mum, when losing her mum, when I saw her in pain and in illness, she was still calling out for her mum. And that will never be forgotten, I think, for anyone, of the role that your parent has in your life. And that role will never be filled by anything else. And I think that's important, because when you lose a partner or a friend, it's comforting to know that one day you're going to find another friend or a boyfriend who will replace, or perhaps even be better than what you lost. Whereas you will never find anyone who will ever even come close to that.
Yeah.
And finding a way once they've passed to maintain that relationship is another really important thing. And it could even be just writing to them, speaking to them, thinking of them, just never letting that memory die.
Yeah. And you can also, I mean, ask the universe, like, you know, mum, if you're here, like, you know, show me a sign. And like, or if not even to do with loss, but, you know, I'll be like, you know, universe or God or whatever you believe in, like, show me a sign, and I'll have like feathers of different colors coming, you know?
Yeah.
Which is, I completely believe in it. But I also feel like what is comforting to know, and if you believe in this, but do you believe in reincarnation?
100%, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, we travel in like soul families.
Yeah.
And every lifetime that you have, you will reincarnate, and your mum will reincarnate, and your dad will reincarnate, or a love will reincarnate. You know, everyone you meet in this lifetime is someone that you had a connection in with the past, in a past
100%.
lifetime. And me and my mum would laugh about, because it's like such a silly thing, but me and my mum would say, oh, I'm sure we were lovers in a past life.
Yeah.
So, you know, you might reincarnate with your mum as lovers in the next life,
Yeah.
or maybe as, she'll reincarnate as your sister or a brother.
Exactly.
But you are that close that you will never, okay, she's not here in this lifetime, but in the next lifetime, you'll be together again, for sure.
And
especially when it's a mother and a daughter.
Oh, a million percent.
That connection, I think, between a mother and a daughter is like...
It's incomparable.
Yeah.
100%. And I think as well, because I don't have a sister or anything, I think that's what made that loss even more impactful, because I have the best, and I love my dad so much. He's been making such an effort since my mum passed, tell me, come into my room before you leave, let me see what you're wearing, and really make that effort to fill that void, but knowing that nothing really will. And that's also completely okay. It's just acceptance is what I would say. It's just complete acceptance of the situation and figuring out personally what will help you, because it's not going to be the same as anybody else. Some people work out to alleviate stress.
Yeah.
Some people write, some people sing.
You do poetry.
And I do poetry, and that's why I love poetry. I started writing with my mum one day in my garden in summer, and that's the first poem I ever wrote. And then since then, it was something that I've loved. And since my mum's passed, every time I write, I always, think, Mummy, would you have liked this? And that's something that I think is really special, to pick up a hobby that would make them proud.
Mm-hmm. And that's fulfilling.
Yeah, and it's fulfilling. And every achievement that you have after they pass, it's, as like I said, that moments will always have sadness in them, even happy moments. Achievements will actually, in my opinion, feel greater, because you're doing it for someone else, really and truly.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching this video of people who won Oscars and Grammy Awards, and it was a compilation of how everyone thanks their mum. All these big celebrities, it's just a compilation of thank you, mum, thank you, mum, thank you, mum. And no matter whether your mum or even your dad is here or not, they are always listening, and everything that you do is not just for your legacy, but also their legacy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you are the bloodline of your mother.
Exactly. Exactly, yeah.
And hopefully you'll have a daughter one day.
Yeah.
I know I do.
Yeah.
I want to have a daughter.
No, me too.
And yeah, I feel like the lineage that runs from women to women especially is just something so strong.
100%, yeah.
And yeah, it's just, I still can't even imagine how it must feel like. And I will never be able to imagine until I lose my mom.
Of course.
But it's just so, I don't know. I feel like what you're going through it's going to really make you even a stronger woman.
100%.
Like a stronger woman, and you're going to help so many other women who maybe don't know, who are not. I feel like you're very, 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 very strong to go through and to come here and to speak up about it. And you might, in a way, inspire other girls to speak up as well and to talk.
100%. And I would definitely think there should even be more support groups for young girls or women in general and men who are going through this, to come and speak together.
In order to feel less alone.
Yes, exactly.
Because it's a lonely thing.
Yeah. And it may not even just to have someone relate to you, but it's just to have someone not say the same thing that everyone else is. And I don't blame everyone else for saying the same I'm sorries. And that's so normal. I was like that too. I had friends that lost their parents before I lost mine. But just to have people, know what you need intrinsically, who are, again, going through the same thing that you are. And again, it's just realizing that, like, you will never get over it. It's not something that you will ever get over, and there will be good days, there will be bad days. And also, as a woman, really going back to losing your mum, I know that as a 23-year-old, I'm in a relationship now. But even just thinking, okay, well, if I were to break up with my boyfriend, if I were to find another guy one day, well, I'm going to lose the one opinion that I really need the most. Like, does mum approve? That's always the thing. Like, does mum approve? But at the same time, you need to rewire your brain to think, well, maybe her passing was meant to happen for me to go into situations that I would never have been able to find myself in if she hadn't.
But also to trust your own intuition.
Yes, exactly. And it goes back to being independent and your soul person. And also in my heart, I know what my mum wants for me. You do. And that's actually just the best. So when you're in life and you're contemplating, what should I do? What career shift should I make? Should I date this boy? What would mummy have said? Just always remember, all she'd want for you is the best.
Yeah.
And your friends can tell you that. Other people can see what's going to make you shine and what's not if you have the right people around you.
But also at the end of the day, I think you intrinsically, you know deep inside, if you just sit and just like be present with yourself, you will always find the answer.
100%. And also it's a bit, maybe it's a bit of a weird way to put it, but it's freeing to know that you've experienced one of the worst things that you could experience in life. I mean, I think that the only worst thing I could experience is losing a child. Or again, losing my brother or my dad would probably be on par with the pain of losing my mother. So knowing that I've gone through probably the worst pain in my life makes everything that's coming a lot more.
Well, because you're like, if I can get through that,
I can get through anything. Yeah. And I will not put up with anything below good.
Yeah. Well, what doesn't kill you really does make you stronger.
100%. Yeah. And it's made me grow up in a way I couldn't imagine. And if I could go back and tell myself anything, I actually would go back and give me no advice at all. Or the only advice I would give is it does get harder before it gets better, which is why I love your quote, because if anything, feeling, like you said, feeling every emotion and not brushing it aside is the most crucial thing to moving on as easily as possible.
Accepting it, and as you said, like really just accepting it. You know, of course you can be in denial for a bit, as you said, for the first few months, but that's all part of the grieving process. Yeah. Firstly, I think there's like 7 steps, isn't there? Yeah. But I think when you really just accept it for what it is and just be like, right, I feel a real deep sense of loss and I feel lonely. Once you've accepted that, and also accepting the fact that, you know, everything is temporary.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the thing. I take absolutely nothing for granted now. And I think that's a privilege that a lot of people don't have or can't find necessarily in the world that we live in right now.
But also the fact that you have your dad who's like trying to, you know, I guess be in a sense like your mom, like
a mother figure.
Yeah. And you know, some people don't even have that.
No, exactly. And I completely empathize with the fact that the support that I have is also a privilege in going through what I'm going through right now. A lot of people are actually physically completely alone, as well as feeling emotionally alone. And that's exactly why I want to advocate for more support groups specifically for those people, and that are specifically driven by grief and loss rather than just mental health, because they are all tying together. But you need to get more specific when it comes to these meetings. And I think that that's something that I really feel strongly about becoming more possible in the next months, years.
Maybe you could.
Yes, maybe.
Start that.
Watch this space. I would love to. Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to say really from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for
coming on.
Me.
And if you are listening to this and you feel connected in some sort of way, I'm going to leave your Insta.
Yes.
You want to share your Instagram?
100%. My Instagram at Syrienna.
SYRIENNA.
Exactly.
SYRIENNA. Maybe,
please DM me.
Yeah, please. Yeah. This episode has been really deep and thoughtful. And I hope that, you know, you definitely 1,000,000% by talking about it, which I know is not easy.
No,
it's not easy at all. Yeah. So really, you should be so proud of yourself.
Thank you.
Really. Yeah. If you like this episode, please also share it on your Instagram story. If this is something that you think a friend might relate to that doesn't necessarily know about this podcast, share it on your Instagram story, share it with your friends so that they can also listen in and hopefully get some sort of advice on this topic, which, as you said, is not spoken about enough.
Exactly. And thank you so much for giving this space, Chiara, because again, I can't think of another podcast that really has done so. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh, my heart. My heart is breaking. No, mending. It's mending. We're all healing.
We're all on the upscale.
Yeah, we are. And even if we have down days, we
normal.
know that exactly.
It's a roller coaster.
Yeah. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And I'll see you on next week's episode of King of Hearts.
Maybe I won't.